Hello students, and welcome to the next lesson in our AS level psychology course. Today's lesson is going to be on institutionalization. What is institutionalization? It's a mouthful to say, but what an institution is a place devoted to a particular cause which people are a part of. In institutions where orphans are raised, caregivers are always going to be changing, and they don't have a stable caregiver. It's hard to form attachments because of it, as stated by Bowlby in his continuity hypothesis. Institutionalized care can therefore cause emotional development problems, especially in inadequate decisions. As Bowlby said in his continuity hypothesis, is that a child is going to need stable and continuous care from a caregiver in order to form the right attachments. O'Connor investigated this idea in an institution in Romania. He wanted to conduct an experiment to investigate the effects of institutionalized care on Romanian orphans and the impact this would have on their cognitive and social abilities. They were compared to a UK-based group. So how did it work? They studied 165 Romanian orphans kept in institutionalized care in Romania. They were adopted at different times. They looked at children who were adopted between 0 and 6 months, 7 and 24 months, 24 and 42 months, and they also looked at a UK group that were adopted between 0 and 6 months. The Romanian children had suffered privation, the UK children did not. At 4 years, they were interviewing parents and teachers of the orphans that had been adopted about behavioural patterns and attachments that they had formed. They also conducted cognitive tests on the orphans to see how their cognitive ability compared to the amount of institutionalized care they had. What did they find? The less time the orphans had spent in institutionalized care, the higher they scored on cognitive tests. Also, the longer the children were in the institution, the greater risk of a failure to form an attachment with their parents. Teachers were also asked to rate the social abilities of the children. They ranked those who spent less time in the institution as having better social competence. Evaluation. The findings may have been subjective observations. This is because they asked so many people on social abilities, and because so many people were giving different opinions, they could have been inter-observer reliability. What was a cognitive and well socially developed boy for one teacher could have been different for another. Also, the research did not measure their prior history. The medical conditions or the fact that the child may have been abused in the womb, for example the mother smoking or consuming drugs, could have impacted their social and cognitive abilities as they developed, not the privation in the institution itself. The sample size was also invalid. Because cultures show many differences, it could have been more effective to compare with a Romanian group rather than a UK-based group, and as a result the comparative sort of results they got from both of them weren't that accurate. And also, since they used interviews to measure attachment, parents could have been subject to evaluation apprehension. They could have lied on how their child was attaching, and as a result manipulated the results to get inadequate ones. Here are some questions on institutionalization. What I'd like to do now is have a go at attempting these on a separate sheet of paper by pausing the video. Then hit play whenever you're ready to see the answers. Here are the answers. If you got all of these right, congratulations. I'd advise you to move on to the next video, which is going to be looking at daycare. As always, thank you so much for watching, and be sure to visit the website or write down any comments below if you have any more questions. I'll see you next time.